Good morning. It's day 9 of my 30-day challenge that I'm doing for myself and sharing with you. I ended out here last night when the morning glories were closed up, and they're beginning to open right now. I wish I had started recording when I first got out here because they were closed up, and then maybe by the time that I end this portion of this morning, they'll be open. It was a rough night again last night, not because of the air conditioning situation, but because that meal that I ate yesterday, something about it did not sit well, and I wasn't digesting well, and the digestion continued on through the night, so that disturbed my sleep. I remember reading something in the last couple days about it's better not to go to bed on a full stomach because it keeps your metabolism working through the night, which does affect your sleep. But just being 61 years old, as I've gotten older, I've seen that a good night's sleep is a more precious thing as well. Not that I ate very, very late compared to many people's standards. I think it was 4 o'clock when I sat down to eat my feast. But I went to bed at about 9 something, and evidently it was just harder. It was not a meal that was easy on my digestion. So anyway, I will most likely be able to take a nap today when the granddaughter takes her nap, and I'm on duty to take care of her all day today and a majority of tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and take my glucose right now so that if she wakes up while I'm doing this little clip, I can have that part of my morning out of the way for sharing with you. So that's the next thing. So I'll turn the camera around and do that right now. For context, last night my glucose, I only have 2 here. Okay, just a second. I want to get out that 3rd test strip. So here's a new cartridge. I'll pull the old cartridge out and pop in the new cartridge that has 25 test strips. And now I have all 3 test strips out. Pop out the meter. So the context last night, the blood sugar that I took before going to bed was 104. Whoops, let's get to the Dario app to be able to test. Insert new test strip. So 104, shaking the camera, 104 last night. And didn't sleep well last night, so let's see what this morning's sugar is going to read. Drop another drop. Well, that's nice. I'm encouraged by that 84 as a waking glucose. All right, get another one. Let's see. No ring, so I need to touch the last blood glucose box to see if it'll give me a ring that says place a drop of blood. Get out of the way. 94, and there's a 10-point spread, and that is why I take more than 1 test strip, because I want 3 digits of agreement. All right, let's see if 84, 94, and what this one is 105. Jeez. All right, let's do a 4th. I think the most I've ever had to do to get a 3-digit agreement was 5 test strips, but I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Okay. Let's see if the 4th one, 3rd time wasn't a charm. Let's see if 4 times is a charm. 83. Okay. And you know what? Just because we've had such a wide range this time, we will do a 5th test strip to make myself more confident that I've got a good reading. $70. All right. So this is the record breaker where I'm now taking 6 readings. Let's see if I can still... Okay, this finger's being good for me, giving me another drop of blood. All these tests and I haven't had to re-stick. That's nice. Okay, so one more. Then we'll look at all of them together on the screen. 81. All right, so I'm pretty sure that the low 80s is the truth. Okay, so we've had, and that's interesting, they're putting them in different windows today. Later today will probably be all together. 81, 77, 83, 105, 94, 84. So with that 84, 83, and 81, I'm going to say that my morning fasting glucose is 83. Yeah, that makes me feel like that's a fair assessment. Now to enter that number into the data-driven fasting app. Okay, so I hit, so my trigger is 83, and I'm saying that my morning fasting glucose is 83. So if I were a breakfast eater, I could go ahead and eat breakfast. I'm not a breakfast eater, and I feel like I'm still digesting last night's meal. So forget that. I'm going to hit track, and I'm going to hit glucose, and I'm going to touch waking, and I'm going to put my value in as 83 and hit done here so that I can use the record button down here. And now I have recorded my morning fasting glucose. On the app, I have a daily lesson that is given to me each day, and I could read that. Let's take a look at it. The question is, should I record my pre-meal blood sugars when I don't eat? If you test and decide not to eat, you can uncheck the will you eat box in the DDF app as shown below. So they're giving you a visual of what that looks like. You may find you take a few extra blood glucose readings while waiting for your blood glucose to drop below your current trigger, especially in the first few days of hunger training. In time, you will learn how your hunger symptoms align with your blood glucose without having to go to the effort of testing until you are actually hungry. Close. Okay. So I read the daily lesson for you. That's something that you would have available on the DDF app to guide you. But then far more informative than that is being able to touch on the navigate button, and then in that menu to touch on the learn button, and then within there the whole DDF manual is available to you. So even though I've been doing this for 3.5+ years, sometimes I like to go back and review the sections in there and just remind myself of the fine points of doing this. But the big picture is you just want to pay attention to your pre-meal glucose numbers, and when you're hungry, the way you pay attention is when you're hungry, you test your glucose and you see where it's at compared to what you'd like to be at, and what you'd like to be at is your trigger. My trigger is 83. At some point here, my trigger may drop, and that's part of the DDF process as well with the app. Your trigger lowers as you begin to improve your blood sugar numbers. So the higher glucose number you start at, the more change downward you'll see. But I'm already pretty close to a very good pre-meal glucose. Most people don't have a trigger, you know, down in the 60s. Some have a trigger in the 70s. There's been a time when my trigger was in the 70s, but then I put on the extra, 10 pounds, so my trigger went up because I wasn't trying to meet a goal. I hadn't set the app to meet a goal of going lower. And about all those test strips that I just used this morning, that's one of the reasons why I really like using the Dario. It is a painful expense at first to all of a sudden cough up $200 so that I can have an annual subscription. But once I've done that, it's much cheaper than doing the Rely On Premier Meter from Walmart, which is another inexpensive option when you're getting started, because those test strips are 18 cents a piece. And really, in the grand scheme of things, what you're spending money on is the test strips. So the more test strips you use, if you're not on something like the Dario's annual $200 subscription, the more money you're going to blow through. I did calculate up one time comparing my spending money on Rely On versus Dario, and I think within a 4-month time period, the cost was even. So if I just done it for 4 months, I would have spent about $200 on Rely On, and then $200 on the annual subscription with I don't know if I said Dario, Rely On, the Rely On Premier from Walmart. I would have spent about $200, but spending the $200 on the Dario gives me 12 months coverage for test strips. So the Dario is definitely the way to go for me, because I have tested for 3.5 years. I've never dropped the idea of testing and just, I feel a certain way, so I know I'm safe. No, I need the data, so I keep testing. Now I do not test as much. Well, maybe that's not a true statement either. I do test when I'm hungry, and that's kind of what I've been doing for as a demonstration on this video, always testing when I'm hungry. So maybe that's the accurate thing. Let me look at my record and see then how many times a day I'm testing. Okay, so I started my 30-day challenge for myself on the 15th, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 16th I tested only 3 times. The 17th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 18th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 19th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 20th, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 21st, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 22nd, which was yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so today, waking, I've only got 1 test in for today. So the most I tested was 6 times in a day. The least I tested was 3 times in a day. There was a day with 4, there was a day with 5. There were probably a couple days with 4 or 5, I don't remember. But anyway, I've now shared with you an accurate picture of testing for a day of DDF. Now, some people are going to test more frequently because they're really curious, and some people are going to avoid testing as much as possible, and they're really only going to test when they're hungry. and so they will test fewer times. I'd say the most helpful information you can have for health purposes during DDF is to test your waking glucose and test your pre-meal glucose. But I'll put that chart up again on this screen so that you can see what is recommended, because there's portions of the challenge where it said, don't bother taking your waking. If that's a test, one less test that you don't have to do, and you're shying away from testing, then you don't have to do that. The chart guides you on what is recommended for testing during the 30-day process. The absolute bare minimum is only to test when you are hungry, and then you can start to learn what your body is telling you through hunger and correlate that with your glucose numbers. I have the baby monitor off to my left here on the table, and little one is waking up. So let me look at the clock. I have about 10 minutes tops before I think she's going to start, before I need to go. But I'm not going to babble on here for 10 minutes. So I got all excited yesterday when my waking glucose was 78, and I really would like to see those numbers, that number, stay in that range for my waking glucose. But I think if I can behave myself during this 30 days, I'm going to see more of that kind of number as waking glucose. So this morning the waking glucose is 83. My trigger right now is 83. I could go ahead and eat if I wanted, eat something that is just protein and non-starchy veggies, which in Trim Healthy Mama terms is thinking about staying within fuel pulling range, and then have a second meal later in the day that might have more of an energy source, like choosing carbs or fats. So that would be either an E meal with carbs or an S meal with fats. There will be a quick start guide to Trim Healthy Mama in the description box of this video, where you can read about the different fuel options in Trim Healthy Mama. You do not have to do Trim Healthy Mama, but it is recommended to pay attention to your fueling choices or your energy source choices that Marty teaches about in the data-driven fasting process, because when we don't have them together, when you can think of it as a spectrum with carbs on one end and fats on the other end, and the closer you bring those two together, that is, Marty talks about that as storing up for the winter, and you're more likely to gain weight. So more likely to store up some fat to get you through the winter. That's why I say that Trim Healthy Mama and data-driven fasting are very compatible things to do together, in my opinion. I need to stop saying My meal yesterday was definitely storing up for winter, which is the opposite of what I want to accomplish during this challenge. So I need to focus on separating my carbs from my fats and stop bringing them so close together. Have another sip of coffee here. I have just resisted so much the idea of having 2 meals a day because it's extra mental effort for me. But I could simplify it and just focus on some kind of protein and some kind of non-starchy veggie and make it quick and down and dirty and easy, and then later on have a more substantial meal. But I have enjoyed doing that 1 meal a day for a long time. It's not what Marty recommends. I'm just so stubborn about it. I could back off on how big that 1 meal a day of mine is, though. That would help. And I definitely need to not put two energy sources, carbs and fats, together in today's meal. Well, that's going to be another telling point, is what does the bathroom scale say this morning? I didn't get to weigh before I came out here because the bathroom was in use. Oh, so I have to face that next, is seeing the bathroom weight on the scale, and I don't believe that it's going to be below the 143 that it was yesterday. The day before that, it was 142, I think. I just realized that today, even though it's day 9 for me, today is day 1 for a new group of DDFers. There's a new July challenge happening right now, starting today. So there's going to be a group of people that are going to be trying to figure this process out. There will be some repeats. A lot of people do the data-driven fasting challenges over and over again, not necessarily back to back, but they come back to it again if they start to get out of line. One challenge costs $37, but it's one of the sign-up options is to do unlimited challenges, and that is $74 for all 7 challenges in a year. I believe that's what it costs right now. Things have changed through the year. Well, it hasn't been that long since it's been an official program, but things have changed. And at one point, there was an offer for, I think, $137 to do unlimited lifetime for everything. Data-driven fasting isn't the only thing that Marty teaches. He teaches about understanding how your macros affect you, and even teaches about trying to make sure you get all of your nutritional needs, the pros, all of your nutritional needs met through paying attention to the micros, the micronutrients in your diet. I haven't done crows. I haven't done the macros, and I haven't done the micros because it's just too much data recording for me. I'm not interested in trying to figure out the granular points. I try to keep a general idea of the nutrition I'm taking in. Maybe someday I'll concede and go ahead and do a macro challenge or a micro challenge. Haven't done that. Okay, time to wrap this portion up. I'll tack on to this video as the day goes on, but probably, not probably, I will be affected by being on duty with the little ones, so I don't know. I don't know what the day holds. We'll see. Well, here I am on my tread desk, showered and dressed, but I'm not taking care of the little one right now because she is off with her mother at the emergency room. So you never know. It's okay. It's not a big deal. So you never know what the day holds. The way it starts out is not the way it necessarily ends. Like one of my videos, I started out really kind of in a foul mood, and I ended on a very high mood. Anyway, the situation with the granddaughter, it's not serious, but it needed to be looked at just to be on the safe side. Little cut after some horsing around and a slip and a fall and some crying and comforting, but they'll be okay. They'll be perfectly fine. I imagine I'm going to have a couple of hours to myself because these things never are fast and quick. There's the drive, then there's the wait to be seen since you're walking, and then there's the drive back. So I suspect by the time they get back, it will be time for granddaughter to have her lunch, unless mother decides to pick up lunch on the way home. So I just have to leave myself open for the remainder of the day, and my daughter just has to trust that the studying the time that's being pulled out of her schedule will not be damaging to the outcome of her exam. I just realized that instead of using that time that they're away to hang out here at my tread desk, walking and working as I would be wont to do, now's the perfect time to get back in the kitchen and see if I could finally make those protein crepes that I saw Neely Indigo do as a video. So let's see if I can do that and share some of that with you. Oh, and I haven't taken my blood sugar again because no reason to, no hunger. So no update on that. Oh, because I showered and dressed, I had access to the bathroom scale, and I was kind of surprised that I stayed right at 143, which I thought that was interesting. I was 143 yesterday, 143 today. And just by way of context, I began my very first day of the challenge, the morning that I weighed on day one, I was at 144.4. And I think the day before that, let me look at my schedule here. The day before that, I was at 144.6. So those are the weights, the weight change, and basically that's a little over a week because today I'm on day 9 of the challenge. So going from 144 down to 143, and depending on what my behavior is today, I could have a reduction on the scale tomorrow because I have dipped down as far as 141.6 on one of my days of the challenge. So the trend is more downward than upward. Okay, so off the tread desk where I'd really like to hang out, into the kitchen to finally try to make those protein crepes that I keep yapping about. According to Neely, what you need are egg whites and gelatin, and you mix them together, and that makes the basis of the protein egg whites. So here we go. Okay, there it is mixed up, and you can see as I move some of the foam away that it's clear underneath. So it's not all just a white uniform mixture. It's gelatinized or whatever underneath. I mean, it hasn't set up yet, but so that's the mixture I'm working with. And there's no seasoning in it, no salt, no pepper, nothing, so that it can go either savory or sweet. My crepes are cooking. The first one was kind of a mess, like when you make pancakes, the first pancake can often be a mess. But I think I'm going to get the hang of it here. And while that is cooking on the stove right now, I'm going to go ahead and take my glucose reading because I got a tiny little hunger pang and I'd like to know what my number says. All right, I've got everything set up already and I'm drawing a drop of blood and we'll see what we get. Pulling up another drop. 89, that's interesting. I thought it would be lower because of the hunger pang, but there's also the behind the scenes thing with the ketones going on and insulin. So is that 289s? Wasn't, yeah, 289s. Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, we'll just stop there because when I get two numbers that confirm, I can stop. The crepes are coming along. I've been doing them in between, you know, the measurements and stuff, and getting communication from my daughter that everything's okay with the granddaughter. She's just going to get a little skin glue to take care of the cut. And so I also mixed up another batch of the egg white gelatin mixture because I could see, all right, I've got this down. I think I'm going to go ahead and just use up a couple cartons of egg whites because I think I'm going to enjoy this a few different ways. I just flipped one of them right now in between the cuts, and so I can enjoy it as a sweet thing or a savory thing. and they keep well in the fridge, so it's worth my while to make up a double batch. And also, my top advice on making them, you got to have a good non-stick pan. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to go ahead and order the pan that Neely is using in her video clip. Her video will be in the description link. A link to her video will be in the description link. And if I find the pan, a link to the pan will be in the description link. And also the gelatin that I bought will be in the description, in the video description. A link to the gelatin I bought, because gelatin is a very useful tool in my life, adding in more protein. Like the other day, when I made the tomato basil soup, I added in gelatin to increase the protein content of my soup. Here's my operation underway. You definitely want to have your stuff sitting long enough to get some uniformity to it, not just foam on top and gel underneath. So I think this stage works well. And then you want to make sure that you put enough in the pan so that it's not too thin and it doesn't tear up on you. And the pan, definitely, I want the new non-stick skillet. I'm going to get Neely's crepe pan. So I will order from her link, and I'll make sure that there's a link in this description box to her video. You can go to her video and buy the pan through her video link description box, or you can use mine. It's probably better if you use hers, because I'm crediting her for this this experience, and I'm going to get her pan, so you know she'll get the pennies or whatever from being an affiliate, having an affiliate link in her description box. Anyway, just so you know, it's going to be all there in my description box too. But I do say you should do business through Neely, and I don't have I'm not running a business. I don't have a side gig. I'm sharing all this with you just so you don't have to chase down stuff. But I do think you should watch her video link at the very least, because you can see her make it, and I've only shown you a few clips in the process of my making this. There's my stack of protein crepes. I have a dozen here. So they were already soft. See that one I was talking about sounding like it was crunchy? Well, it's already softened up. So I have a dozen of these, 10 kind of pretty ones. This is the underneath side, and this is what it looks like on the top side. That wants to tear a little bit. So I will be able to, and this is the thickest one. It was the end of the batch, and I just went ahead and made it a thicker one. But you know, see, I'll be able to fill the inside with a creamy mixture and the strawberries, and then I can roll it over. Oops, off the plate. I'll be able to roll it over, and I'll have a crepe. But I'll be showing those too when I get ready to sit down and have my feast meal today. I feel very blessed. My daughter bought these boxes of strawberries yesterday, so I will slice them up. And that's a kitchen tip, is I think the strawberries are more useful if you just go ahead and slice them up, and I think they don't rot as quickly. For some reason, I keep them sliced and in a bowl in the fridge ready to go. I also save the tops. These are organic strawberries, so I save the tops and I blend them into my green drinks, which I haven't had one of those yet while I'm here, but anyway, that's another tip. Mama and little one are back from seeing the doctor, and all is well. Just a little skin glue took care of the problem. And little one is down for her nap now, and it is time for me to eat my feast. But before I start eating, I'm going to take my glucose, just so I have a pre-meal glucose to add to the app. And depending on what that pre-meal glucose is, that may change my trigger value too. So let's turn the camera around and take the glucose reading. All right, get some test strips out. 1, 2, 3, hold on to one. Get the meter out, put put that in the bottom of the phone. Open Dario. Put the test strip in. Okay, give me yes, the circle. And raise a drop of blood. More than a drop there. Okay. Raise another one for the next reading. What is the first one? 82. Okay, so I'm below trigger. That's good. Now take that one out and put the new test strip in. Need that circle, place drop of blood. And see what that number reads while I get another drop in case they're not 3 apart. 82, right on the money. Okay, so we can put this, we can check that off. Put this test strip back in. Get those lined up there. Put the meter back in the case. And put the cap back on. There we go. Thank you, Dario. Oops, almost forgot. I need to record it in my pre-meal number on the data-driven fasting app. So track, glucose, will you eat? Yes, it is a before meal, and 82 is my value. 82 milligrams per deciliter. Rate your hunger. Amazingly, not very hungry actually. Haven't had any hunger pangs to speak of, but I need to eat. It's 2:17. I'm below trigger. It says, congratulations, your blood glucose is close enough to your personal trigger. Time to eat a nutritious meal. And that's what I intend to do. So next, let me show you my meal. This is the banquet table that I have set for myself. I'm having oolong tea, and I will put a link in the description box about the benefits of oolong tea. It will take you, actually, that link will take you to a recipe for a drink called the shrinker. The name tells you what it does. And in that recipe, there's information about the health benefits of oolong tea, which is a fermented black tea that has the benefits of a green tea. I think that's right. And then I'm having strawberry crepes for lunch. This is a protein-packed meal because I'm using protein crepes, and the sauce that I mixed up to go inside of the crepes with the strawberries that are in the crepes, and that it's over the top of the crepes with the strawberries, that has protein in it as well. It is made with the cottage cheese that I blended up, and then into the cottage cheese I put creamy, dreamy protein powder. That is a Trim Healthy Mama product, and I love it. It truly is creamy and dreamy. Now, when I put the creamy, dreamy protein powder into the creamed cottage cheese, my mixture became really thick. It would have been unappealing to eat. So then I went ahead and I used some kefir that I had in the fridge, and I poured the kefir in and I thinned it down so I had a sauce. A thin version of yogurt, basically. And then I sweetened all of that because it didn't have the sweetness level that I wanted to it. So I used allulose as my sweetener, and I will put a link into the description box about allulose and the benefits. It actually has some blood sugar lowering benefits, allulose does. So I will have a couple of information articles in the description box about allulose. Now it is time to eat. A quick hello from a children's play park by a little lagoon. Day 9 is turning out to be an excellent day. That strawberry protein crepe lunch that I was able to have was absolutely perfect. I was eating it and thought to myself, I can't believe I get to eat this way. So you've probably had enough of the swing set. I just was popping in for a second. There's the park behind me that we were just at, and now we're in the car ready to go back to the house. I took my glucose and it's only 90. So I think I had an 82 before I started eating, and it's not too many hours. I'm guessing it's about 3 hours after I ate, and I have a 90. So that's pretty good. We're going back to the house now and take a bath, and then I can have a little time in the backyard to finish up today's video for day 9.
And Peppa Pig.
Yeah, and watch Peppa Pig. Here I am, finishing up day 9 of my 30-day challenge. Sitting in my daughter and son-in-law's backyard. It's been a great day. I had an excellent meal today, and yes, I still did just one meal. I keep thinking I should do 2 meals, and somehow it never happens. Maybe tomorrow it will. I did do 2 meals on Sunday last week, so I had something before I went to church, and then I came home and I had another meal. But that day was the day I also kept eating after that second meal. And then that was the day we ended up at the beach, and I'd been feeling sorry for myself, but then the beach sort of picked me up. Anyway, maybe I will have 2 meals tomorrow, because I have those protein crepes sitting in the fridge, and I would like to try them maybe with a little bit of maple syrup and sugar sprinkled on them or something. That's a powerful protein little snack I could start the day with, if I'm careful about the energy source that I add to them. And maple syrup would be an energy source, and not a nutritious energy source either. Anyway, I shouldn't be long here, because the granddaughter wants me in the room to go to bed with her. She's gotten used to having me in there, and she evidently is comforted having me, lay down and go to sleep, be in the room when she's in the room for sleeping. There are a couple things I want to finish up with you. I wrote some notes for myself. I just took another glucose right now, because that 90 at the, when I had my granddaughter at the park, I was wondering, well, did my glucose go up after I took the 90, like happened yesterday? I had taken a sort of post-meal glucose 3 or 4 hours later, and then yet again it went up after that. So it didn't go up this time. I just took it, and it was 88, so that's 2 points lower than when I took it there in the park, in the car in the park. So my morning waking glucose this morning I have is 83. I'm ending the day with 88. The highest I don't know if it's the highest I went, but the highest I've recorded is 90. And I did get that nice little message on the app. Wow, you had a great meal. Okay, so end of day updates. I wrote, today, while little one was taking her nap, it was perfect timing for me to join the data-driven fasting first day live. Today was the first day of the July challenge for the data-driven fasting group. They've started day 1 of their 30-day challenge, and so I was able to be in on that live and contribute to it. Marty shared a new chart, so I will put that in this video. As a matter of fact, let me kind of move over a little bit and make room for that chart to go in this video. So I just thought it might be helpful for you to see their 30-day chart, and it looks just like the June's challenge chart. The only thing that's different are the actual dates on it. It's 30 days, and you follow the same pattern for the 30 days, beginning with baselining, then go into hunger training, and so on and so forth. I don't have it memorized. I should. I've done, actually the last in June, that was the first time I did a full 30-day challenge. And it wasn't so much a challenge that I was successful at in bringing down my weight as it was a challenge that I was successful at in actually recording my data for the 30 days and entering it into the app. So you've got the new chart you can see, and I wanted you to know that in an actual 30-day challenge where you're paying the $37 and participating with a group live, every Saturday you get to be in a question and answer live, and Marty reviews, what's ahead, what we've done, there's a question and answer time. You can ask questions right then and there and get them answered. And it's neat to see faces of the other people that log in and participate in the Zoom. And if you can't participate in the lives, they're recorded. So you can go back, you can still see what happens in them and see the questions that were asked and hear Marty's review of what's coming in the next week of the challenge. So he launches the first day of the challenge with a live, and then every Saturday during that 30 days, there is a question and answer live. It lasts for 1 hour, and they're very good about keeping to the 1 hour. So that, and I guess that's it for closing up day 9 of my 30-day challenge, and telling you that I'm sort of double dipping. I'm doing my own challenge, but I'm also going to try to contribute content or whatever, comments, encouragement to the people in the live 30-day challenge that just began today. It's called the July challenge. It will go into some part of August, but that's it. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I've got those protein crepes made up, and I can use them. I can use them up as just a snack with some sugar substitute if I want. That's a good idea. I could use allulose because I know that's good for my blood sugar, and I could sprinkle cinnamon on it, and I could just roll it up and eat that. Maybe if I wanted to have a little fat, I could put a little fat butter in there. The possibilities are endless. I think one thing I might want to do is make chicken. Oh, my daughter has some portobello mushrooms. Yes, chicken and mushroom crepes. I could make a white sauce, a protein-focused white sauce. Oh, I like that idea a lot. Okay, I don't know if I'll get it made tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll at least start the day before I go to church with having one of those probably cinnamon sweetened crepes warmed up. Okay, I have something to look forward to in the morning. I should also look forward to the fact that I'm going to church tomorrow morning. I'm going to my California church. Since I have been here so much in the past couple of years, I found a church to go to when I'm here, and I'm slowly developing some relationships there. It's kind of cool. Church in Texas, church in California. All right, good night.